Hey guys, what's up? This is James. Let me introduce you. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about chemistry. And as you guys know, I never know where it leads me, so I just observe, and I'm myself surprised where that energy or that guidance somehow leads me. And today it's chemistry. And if you see, as always, I prepare some things on my board, Marco board. And today is about chemistry. And I think it's important to understand some core things in chemistry. And what I want to say up front also is it is really important that you keep learning. It doesn't matter how old are you, keep learning, right? And if you feel too old and you think it's too hard to explain, then learn stuff what they do for kids, so it's easier for you to learn. But what is really, really important is that you have to learn to create your foundation, right? Your own foundation. It's very important. So, as I said, today is about chemistry, and I want to talk about it called the three states of matter, right? The three states of matter. So we have three states of matter on this example here, which is we have a solid state, we have liquid state, and we have gas state. So when you look around in your environment, at home or outside, a bottle, this, all kinds of stuff, this all material stuff is either a solid, liquid, or gas. So these are three out of four foundations of molecules. So we have solid, liquid, and gas. If you have a solid molecule, a solid object, it has volume and it has shape, right? Solid has volume and has shape. Liquid has volume but has no shape, right? And gas, which is here, has no volume and no shape, right? And the molecules, they are in the solid area, they are very close to each other, like this, and they have not much freedom of movement, right? So the molecules are very close, and they are not free of movement, right? The molecules in the solid state. In the liquid state, they close to each other, but they can move around, right? In the molecules inside liquid. In gas, they are very far apart. Movement is easy and fast on gas. So let me stop here real quick. Is that according to those core principles, is the goal here is if you understand the core of solid, liquid, and gas, and how the molecules are interact to each other in those states. We have solid is a state, liquid is a state, and gas is a state. If you understand in the core how the molecules interact in those states, I think what you have to do, and that's what most people cannot do because they stop there, you have to adapt that and apply it in our daily operations, in our daily life. So here it says, let me give you an example. So a solid state, right, has volume and has shape, and the molecules in the solid shape are very close to each other, not much freedom of movement. Now, when I know that is that if when I understood that core and I translate it and transform it to another field that has nothing to do with chemistry, and let's say I transfer what I have learned and I adapt it in the social or in the psychological field, like I know now, if somebody has a strong mind, a strong attitude, you cannot move him around, or you cannot sway him, or you cannot talk him the other way around, because he's solid, right? So he has not freedom of movement because he's strong into it. It's just an example. So I adapt the molecule core principle, and I understood that, and I adapted and applied my daily operation, my daily life, which I transferred in a social or in a social or in a psychological field. Now I know in liquid there is not much difference between liquid and gas, just as gas has actually no volume and no shape, but liquid has volume. Liquid is something that I would translate it is something that is on the rush, right? Fast, kinetic, speeding, but if we translate it in the psychological field into in the social field, liquid means, I would translate liquid means is that it occurred that something was understandable, but you're not sure if it took over, right? And gas, if I translate that, because it says fall apart movement, easy and fast, that means if somebody is in the translating the chemistry molecule in the gas characteristic, fall apart movement, easy and fast, that tells me that those are the easiest one to be swayed, to manipulate, to move around from this side to the other side, to educate them, to move them around, right? So that's what I would say would be gas. Now the interesting thing is, as we know, we have three states of matter, which is one, solid, liquid, and gas. Now the interesting thing is, those are all convertible by changing condition through temperature and pressure. That means if you heat up solid, it becomes mostly liquid, and after that stage it becomes gas. Now in the other way around, if you put cold fusion, then gas becomes liquid, and then later on it becomes solid. So the important thing is that it's not about the beginning and it's not about the ending. The most focus, what has to be always, is the process between. Not focusing on beginning, not processing on observing the end. The process. It's very important that you see the process. And if you see now, if you understand that heat and cold, angry and calm, mad and all that, right? If there are conditions and temperature and pressure that you convert a solid into gas and gas into solid, it's a huge major understanding if you understand that and you adapt it in your daily operations, right? So it's important that you understand the process, how you convert gas into solid and solid into gas, the process, right? So that means that solid can in most times can be gas, and gas can be mostly somewhere, maybe with mixtures, can be solid. And the tools what you have to use, the condition is heat and cold. So heat and cold allows you to change from solid to liquid, from liquid to gas, the other way around, gas to liquid, liquid to solid. So now if you are in your daily operations and you see around you solid objects or liquid objects or gas, well, gas is not an object, but if you understand how those things work, the processing, not the beginning and not the ending, the processing itself, how our digesting works, or how our environment, nature works according to those three states, and how it, how it changed the conditions, cold and warmth. And I think it's very helpful, and it's very useful to use it in your daily operations in the nature. Another thing what I want to say is, this is something, the observation. Look, this is an observation thing. Let's say there's a gold rush, right? And everybody wants to have that gold. I don't want to have that gold. I want to give him I want to be the guy who sell him the shovel, right? I make much more money, because you have to think like this. Let's say there's a gold rush, and millions want to go over there and want to find gold, but they don't have no shovel. Well, I have the shovels and I know how to build them, so I'll provide them my shovel so they can use to get their interest. So what is really important is, in the society, it's all about interest. And not that you are the one who's being interested, you are the one who wants to support those people who are interested in it, right? So let's say, for instance, I mentioned an instance with a gold rush. Let's say there's a gold rush, right? And everybody wants, obviously, dig gold and find gold, right? But I step away back and I say, well, I give them the tools so they can dig gold, which is the shovel, or a shovel. And I make a lot of money, as more people running to that interest, I make money just alone on their interest, right? So this is things you have to, you have really to analyze, observe, the process. And it's not about the beginning or the ending, it's about the process between. That's where the interesting thing takes part, and you can analyze and observe things, right? And also, it is important that, as I mentioned in the very beginning, learn. It doesn't matter how old are you. Learn what you want to know. Go really deep into it. You have plenty of time. Watch less television. Watch less sports. Don't go to entertainment stuff, and invest more in the interest of learning really fundamental things. Because if you learn more things, if you know more stuff about things, your whole perspective changes, you understand things, and then you don't depend on nobody. You don't, if you know something, you don't depend on someone, because you know by yourself. But if you don't know nothing, you always depend on somebody, right? Make that sense? So thank you for watching. Today about the 3 states of matter in chemistry, and a little bit side topic, what I said about the gold rush and learning all that stuff. So thank you for watching, guys.